What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? You know what time it is. You're in the birdcage tonight. Regular show. Was supposed to have an interview, but some things went awry, but it's all good. But we got you covered. A lot of news been going on with the Falcons so far. But before we get to it, hit that like and subscribe button. On the way in, we got you covered. Let's go.
Okay, y'all, this is it.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? The wait is over. We are back with off-season training underway, and the team is reconvened, just like we're getting ready to reconvene. We got Coach Cam in the building tonight, man, and we got some other folks that's going to be stepping in tonight. But, Cam, what's good, man?
Hey, nothing to it. Time to get high school kids back to it, and the Falcons getting back to it, so it's a beautiful thing.
Got to give a shout out to the folks in the Birdcage chat right now. We got Nando in the building. We got Miss Ann in the building. She's a stinking Saints fan, but you know what? It's all good. She's still supporting and, you know, got love for her. But it's just on that day when we play the Saints, as Dewey McClain, Falcons legendary linebacker, says, that's Christmas for us because we going to get presents when we put foots to ass. Now, I'm sorry. I said that too. I said that a little too crazy. I'm sorry, Mom. My mom is in the chat. So y'all got to forgive me because I got to put some soap in my mouth. You know what? I'm going to wash this out real quick. Look, I got sparkling water, Mama. I'm sorry. That's that Coast Guard coming up out of me or whatever. I was a dirty sailor. But also shout out to my man Craig Air Force, my brother, our brother at arms, Mr. Craig out here. We got Mills. What's going on, my brother? Another military part. Like, we getting all the military folks in here tonight. So it's just something about it. We just all congregate. We don't like each other because we in different branches, but guess what? We all got a love and a respect. But again, the only thing is that we got up in here, we got a stinking Saints fan up in here. So it's okay. We getting ready to roast you tonight. I'm just joking. What up, Jaden? What up, Jaden? What's hood? Let's get to it, man. Gotta laugh and we gotta cut up a little bit. But yeah, my mom just said she sees me. I know, Mama. I know.
Get him, Mama. Get him.
Hey, you stay out of this. You stay out of this. That ain't got nothing to do with you. You stay out of this.
Get him, Mama. Get him.
I ain't fooling with you tonight, fool. But hey, man, see, you coming up in here bothering me. You know what? As Archie Bunker once said, this is what you are right now.
You are a meathead.
That's what you are right now. You are a meathead. Pause. So, again, I'm on my Archie Bunker type tonight, man. Let's get to it, man. Talking about the Falcons, a lot has been going on. Let's talk about something that really just shook up everything and possibly is going to help us in the draft. Caleb McGarry retires. When we sit back and we look at Caleb McGarry, see, you ignorant. See, I'm trying to get a man a little a little bit of grace. But when you sit back and you think about it, Caleb McGarry, we complained about the pass blocking. The run blocking was never the problem. That was never the problem. It was the pass blocking. And yeah, my mama see you too. So that was the pass blocking was the issue when you talk about Kaleb McGary and what he brought to the table when it came to that. What was it about McGary? And this is the other thing. A lot of Falcon fans don't remember. He had a heart condition as well, dealing with the other injuries as is. He came in with a heart condition, but when you look at the injuries that he had, knee, ankle, and you're talking about a 300-pound man that gets beat on every play. When you look at Kaleb and you look at his career and the expectations that we had for him at that point, how do you feel how Kaleb really didn't tap into his full potential? And do you think he could have been one of the best tackles that we could have had in this franchise outside of Matthews and Mike Ken?
No.
Do tell.
And the reason why I say that is because, and I want everyone to please to understand this. I'm not saying this to be facetious. With Kaleb McGary coming out of college, right? He wasn't the best prospect coming out to begin with. He talked a big game like other players that we've had in the past. But when it came to the film, he had maybe 2 good seasons out of the 7 he was with us. Maybe 2. His pay year, and I want to say year number 2 was a solid year for him. And I don't think McGary is the worst tackle ever, but he's definitely in my top 5 for worst tackles ever. Because the boy couldn't block anybody. He was a hamster wheel. Everyone got a turn. It doesn't matter how we tried to protect him, how we tried to double up with tight ends on his side, he still got beat like a government mule. Him and his best friend, Kyle Pitts, they're the worst blocking big men I've ever seen in my life. They're terrible. So, I mean, I wish him the best in his retirement, and I wish him health. I wish him a long life. But this was the best thing that could have happened for my team. Him retiring was the best thing that could have happened to us before the season started.
Man, I got to give a shout out on X. We got to give a shout out to folks that have been sharing. Shout out to our boy Yuri on X. Definitely has become the unofficial mayor of Atlanta. I have a hard time pronunciating my man's last name. Forgive me, but I'll let him do that next time he comes in. But Yuri, appreciate you sharing. Also, Jacoby, thank you for sharing. Tyree Holland, Ann Friedman, who's in the chat, that's the Saints fan. She definitely shares our channel. So all of you guys that share the channel, we want to make sure that we say thank you. And shout out to our guy, John Harris, a.k.a. the Crooked Deacon, is in the chat tonight. Rest in peace to Bo Brock, ATL Sports radio legend. Yes, he was. So rest in peace to Mr. Brock. Also, but getting back to it, I'll tap into it. McGary really didn't get into his full potential because he didn't have anybody here to teach him how to pass block. Let's be real. And when and the thing is, we got a player that's spotlighted tonight that is going to draw a lot of great attention. And if we're going to talk about it, eventually when Jake Matthews retires or the Falcons decide to move on from him, they could actually put Bergeron to that tackle spot where he originally was at in college because he learned how to be a guard in the NFL. And there's a kid that we got spotlighted tonight that could be a Nate Newton type of guard. He just needs to be molded. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. But McGary does it with class, and I respect it because he wasn't trashy how he left. He didn't wait till after the draft to leave the team in a bad predicament like some players would do. McGary put us in a position to where you really could respect the fact that he gave us an option by saying, hey, I'm going to retire before the draft. I know you got Storm Norton here. I know you have Jack, and I know you have and I know you got Jack in the building or whatnot, but here's the other thing. when you look at the fact that we are struggling with depth, this is another piece that opens up with his retirement. And when you look at the retirement and whatnot, you have to put into perspective that the Falcons literally could have any type of tackle right now. They can draft somebody right now. And for me, I'm going to draft the tackle to bring in more competition and more depth. You just brought in Jawan Taylor from the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I understand he has over 100 games experience, but if you go back and look at it, this man was run through worse than Skyline Chili at an Ohio State players breakfast convention. That's pretty much how he was run through. If you know about Skyline Chili or whatnot, it runs through your system. So again, that's pretty much how he was run through when he played with the Chiefs in that Super Bowl against that Eagles defensive line, which was constructed of Georgia Bulldogs. I got to make the joke. It's a gator we pulled in here. Y'all know I'm not going to go without having a little bit of hate in my blood. I'm sorry. But it's only 3 gators I would go after this year. George Gums is one. I would go after Barber, the offensive tackle, and their defensive tackle. Those are the only 3 gators I would go after, to be honest. Now, if things don't work out in the running back side of the house, Jaden Ball comes out next year, and that's a Decatur kid. Unfortunately, he went to Florida, but I got to give it to the young man. He's one of the most dominant running backs in college football. And if you bring him home, if things don't work out, I'm hoping that things work out in the backfield so we don't have to make a pick for a running back. That is a guy that you look at for next year. I'm throwing it out there. Jaden Ball is a monster. And shout out to Gresham Park because y'all molded that boy. Y'all pretty much gave him the fundamentals. And Gresham Park, shout out to our guy Scoop, the Black Wall Street. He's a coach at Gresham Park, by the way. So again, he helped coach young man. So got to make sure we put our respects on our guy that still works in the community heavily with the kids and helps develop a lot of these kids, not only as a football player, but also as young men in life. So shout out to Scoop, the Black Wall Street Journal, one of the best in the game, and we appreciate having him on our team. But I'll say this, though. Now that he retires, you really have to go either O-line or D-line within the first 2 picks that you have. I understand best player available at this point, best player available right now, you got to build your trenches. It sucks that you got some eye candy at receiver right now, but you got to get the trenches right. Which direction do you think Ian's going to go, in your opinion, before we switch the subject?
I agree with you. This is something that me and you have talked about forever. I'm a huge proponent of us going either line. I don't really care which way. Because I am a defensive guy, I'm going to say this year we definitely need to go offensive line, because if you look at what the defense did last year, it's way more continuity and consistency from that side of the ball. So if we're going to bring in a pick, especially with the 5 that we have, they have to be immediate pieces that can come in and play right away. This is not an off season where we can take time to try to say, hey, we have a 2-year plan or a 3-year plan. No, that plan needs to start today, tomorrow, and the day after that. And they have to put people in position for us to do well. And I understand everybody wants a nose tackle and all that good stuff. But look at what we did with the players that we had last year who weren't as good as well as being injured throughout most of the season. The defensive line put up numbers, and I don't care what anyone says. If you watch the tape, the defensive line was the most secure piece of that defense. That was the engine that ran the defense, was the front 4 and the front 7. So when you look at that, most of those guys is coming back outside of JPJ, and we may get him back. We may get him back depending on what happens with his case. So the biggest piece that hurt us last season, that got our quarterback hurt, was the offensive line. So let's go ahead and get that addressed now, while we have a healthy Tua and a recuperating Michael Penix Jr. And let's get this solidified before we have to try to figure it out, or makeshift an offensive line during the season next year. Let's try to figure out who it will give us the best percentages to win football games later into the season, talking, December, January, and hopefully in February.
Mm-hmm. And I'm with you on that when you talk about the defensive line, because again, we need a defensive tackle. We have not had a true defensive tackle since Rasheed Hageman. And I hated how he went out, because again, he got in trouble with the law and that killed his career. Because let's be real, at this point, Rasheed Hageman would be at a certain point in his career right now where we would have paid him, because he was a destructive force. And unfortunately, he was a destructive force in his own life off the field. And I hope that young man got his life right, because again, potential wasted. Brian Cox got that kid to play outside of his mind. And we haven't had a consistent defensive tackle. When you look at Grady was out of position, Jonathan Babineau would slide in there, and I think he was an underrated defensive tackle that we had during the time that he was here. But here's the other thing that we got to talk about when you speak on defensive linemen. The last true deep tackle that we had and was here, Rod Coleman. Permanently, before he left, Rod Coleman was consistent. We have not had a consistent big presence in the middle since Big Rod Coleman. And that's just what it is. But I think that now that we know that we need pieces, and I've been preaching offensive line depth for years, but I was told that I'm hating on the team. I was told that I'm crapping on the team because I'm telling the truth. And here's the thing. Penix gets hurt. Everybody, the offensive line is horrible. Offensive line has not been good since Matt Ryan has been here in pass protection. Because at his last 3 years here, Matt was still putting up numbers and getting the hell kicked out of him. And he still was there. So I'm telling you up front, you got to get somebody that's going to be able to protect the quarterback. Because it doesn't matter who we have in the back on the ball. You can't throw on your backside. Now, here's something that I agree with. I understand that Jesse Bates had a press conference the other day, and we getting ready to talk about that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to retire a Falcon. Guess what? You're not going to retire a Falcon. Not with Ian Cunningham here. And at this point, I'm looking to shop him away at this point. Get something what you can get for him right now. Guess who's on the market right now? Dexter Lawrence. The Giants need a safety. He doesn't want to be in New York anymore. I want Bates to be here, but guess what? The business side of it is this. We already drafted his replacement. We just need his replacement to come off the Achilles injury.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, I love Bates. Bates was the guy that I was the most ecstatic for when we got him, and you can attest to that. But all I'm saying is this. If you were to trade away Jesse Bates and give away a second-round pick to get a prime Dexter Lawrence, this isn't a guy that does not need grooming. A prime Dexter Lawrence with that defensive tackle. I get Ian wants pieces, but here's the thing. You bring that piece in, that right there gives your offense a hell of a lot more cushion when we talk about performing. What do you see with that, Cam? Because that was something that was brought up finally about Jesse Bates being shopped out for a D tackle with a pick. Because Jesse's worth more than a second round pick right now.
Oh, absolutely. But this goes back to our show a couple weeks ago. I love, like I said, I love Jesse. I love everything that he's done since he's been here. But over the last 2 years, especially more so last season, for those people who actually watch film and actually watch the game as it progresses, Jesse Bates. You know what, Nando? You're absolutely correct. I would trade that man for a half-eaten bag of Funyuns and a soda pop right now.
No, but let's not troll right now because we talking serious when we talk about a Dexter Lawrence, and we're saying that
I got
we're
you.
bringing in. So here's a question: you got Bates and you got Pitts. You ain't trading both of them because you need one of them.
No.
If you trade one of them, what would you give to bring a Dexter Lawrence to Atlanta as a D tackle?
Honestly, with the way that the defense plays right now, and knowing that JPJ may be gone for maybe a year, I would absolutely shop Jesse Bates and possibly a third to see if we can swing Dexter Lawrence to Atlanta. But again, Coach Brand, I absolutely agree. I don't want Nathan out of the state of Florida, and I don't want nothing else out of Clemson. I'm sorry. Neither one of those schools produce legitimate playmakers on the defensive side of the ball. I'm sorry. Y'all can say what you want about me. I don't care. AJ Terrell, hit or miss. Kyle Pitts, hit or miss. It's consistent. Florida and Clemson have inconsistent players that come to the NFL. It's a fact. And I don't want to see either one of those school players come here. It is what it is. Call me a hater all you want. The truth sounds like hate when you ain't never heard it before. These is facts. Great college players, mediocre NFL players.
But here's the other thing that a lot of people aren't paying attention to. A lot of people want to bring in AJ Terrell's little brother, as we've heard. And I'm telling folks, listen, there's a ton of great defensive backs out here. Do not just bring him here because that is his brother. Yes, he's a good college corner, but I'm telling you, one of the best corners in that conference is Rashad Battle. That's a local kid out of Creekside High that played at Pitt. Anything that Pat Narduzzi touches defensively, I trust Pittsburgh. I trust what comes out of Pitt. I need y'all, if you don't know about Pitt and y'all are new to the sport of college football, Pitt has always been a football factory. I need you to look at all the Hall of Famers that have come out of that school. I need you to look at all of the great players that have come out of that school. Hell, I could give you 4 Hall of Famers right now. Tony Dorsett, Hall of Famer. Dan Marino, Hall of Famer. Mike Ditka, Hall of Famer. Joe Schmidt, Hall of Famer. Hell, I'll give you a 5th one for the newbies. Darrell Revis, Hall of Famer. Revis Island. So again, if I draft anything out of Pitt, I trust it. So again, all I'm saying is this. I like Gerard McCoy, but we got to see what he's like off that injury. My thing is I know Rashad Battle's not injured. I like Gerard McCoy, but I've already said, and Aaron Donald, that's going to be another Hall of Famer event. So anything defensively out of Pitt, I trust.
Yeah.
I trust.
Now, if you want to talk about a corner, the corner from South Carolina State, the nickelback, I cannot think of his name.
Washington.
Thank you. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Hold up.
Go get him. Go get him.
I give you this. Gerard Washington is better than Gerard McCoy. I stand on that. 4.36, sir, and outran everybody at the East-West Shrine game. A ball hawk. Left Benedict College and was one of the top prospects. Alabama wanted him. I know Georgia talked to him at one point. Ohio State talked to him. Around 6'1", 190, 4.36. You're saying nah, but I'm telling you this. Gerard Washington is a shutdown corner. I'll take him over Gerard McCoy. And he's never been hurt. 6'1", 190, and he can dunk a basketball jumping out of the gym, and he's a ball hawk. Footage don't lie.
And then,
But
and then
we
there's
can agree to
another.
disagree on that player, though. It's all good. I still think McCoy is a good player, but I'm also looking at the fact that we have too many guys that are coming in here with prior injuries. That's what I'm looking at. McCoy's been hurt. I don't want to make a habit of bringing guys in here that could possibly be in the Piedmont Hospital wing buying property. I already said this, man. He's an All-American. I know this, but he's also been injured. Michael Penix was an All-American, and Penix has been injury prone. Not saying that he can't do it, but I'm just saying. I get it. But here's the thing, though. I can tell you right now, the last safety that I talked about that came out of the HBCU was better than anything that came out of the SEC, and that was Marquise Bell. I'm not wrong about my vows for my HBCU boys. I'll put them up against anybody in the SEC. Period. A lot of people sleep on them because of that. So, but getting back to it, I love debating with Coach Brant, man. I love it. I'm gonna be 100 with you, yeah. And yeah, he's a FAMU guy. And he was supposed, and here's the thing, he was better than what we had here, and the safety that should remain nameless here that he was behind at UCF. And he outperformed him when he ended up going to FAMU and had the same type numbers that the kid Hamilton in Baltimore had. Came as an undrafted free agent and is now starting for the Dallas Cowboys right now. So again, I have no problem with that. I talk about all types of talent, but I don't like the fact that talent gets left behind and people sleep on it. But it's all good. Let's get to this here because we'll be on this all day. That's something I could debate all day. But speaking of Kyle Pitts, he signs the franchise tag and is and he's also in voluntary workouts. Now, it's a lot of folks that are ecstatic about Pitt signing that tag, of course, and 15 million for 1 year, really a prove it deal. But here's the thing that a lot of people aren't trying to pay attention to, and they want to turn a blind eye to it, and they really want to close their ears, see no evil, hear no evil. They're still taking phone calls on Kyle Pitts right now to see what type of offers he would get. Apparently the offers are not as thorough as they should be because he's here. They're still negotiating. And I'm telling you right now, he ain't getting tight end money right off the bat. If he's going to get it, he's got to earn it this year. If he remains here. Do you believe that Ian's going to shop him around?
I do. But also, like you were saying earlier, the market for Kyle Pitts is low because of the tape that Kyle Pitts is giving himself. The same thing that most fans, well, I wouldn't even say most fans. I would say the fans who actually pay attention to film. The fans who actually watch the game and they can point out where Pitts, baby cakes his routes, or he hot dogs when he feels like he gonna get hit. I mean, Kyle Pitts does some great things on the football field. Do not get me wrong, but he does way more. So it's way more that he does wrong on the football field. He doesn't block well. He doesn't chip well. He doesn't do much. He doesn't do much of anything well, in my opinion. And I'm not going to. And again, I'm not dogging Kyle Pitts because he is a talented player. He has the build to be great. Does he have the mentality and does he have the engine to actually prove it? In 5 years, you've had 2 collective good seasons. So that
and
means
one of those years you got to disqualify now. Now look, I'm one of the biggest Kyle Pitts antagonists, but you got to also look at the fact that knee injury played a part into that. And when you look at that, that's just one of those things. What's going on? We got Fandemic in the building, and we got Ike Solid in the building. Hey, so here's the thing. A lot of people don't have common sense when it comes to understanding the business side of the game. Most people are falling in love with guys just remaining here. Now, here's my thing. If they keep Pitts, you pay him tight end money. You don't pay him wide receiver money. If you decide to move on from Drake, if you don't pay Drake, but they're going to pay Drake, that Bijan and Drake are the two people that Ian spoke on, and they're working something out. So right now, Pitts is pretty much on no man's land, just waiting right now. He's in purgatory. So his side is working that. His side is working possibly a deal, but the numbers have to add up for him to be able to stay here. So I'm not saying that he's not going to be here, but a lot of folks don't understand that franchise tag does not mean that you can't get traded, because he doesn't have a no trade clause in his contract, because his rookie contract definitely didn't have that, because he was a first round pick. So I just look at it from a standpoint of possibly that could happen, but all I can say is right now we got him. We got to use him. And while he's here, let's see if we can get the best out of him if he remains here. Let's just be real. Now, if he's here and he has a mediocre year, that right there is going to be something that we just got to laugh with. You know what I'm saying?
No, like, and again, I don't want people to think that I'm just a evil person or I'm mean, right? Kyle Pitts has shown flashes of where he's shown he can be the guy. But again, at the end of the day, he's not consistent, and that hurts him, because when you show that you're not going to be consistent, even when you're not the target, I'm not drawing up plays for you. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it. And unfortunately, I would love to have a fullback back. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, again, Kyle Pitts has talent. I'm not going to sit here and say that he doesn't, because he's had moments where he's shown he can be the best player on the football field when he actually wants to be the best football player on the field.
Hold up now.
When is he going to be consistent?
Hold up now. That's a stretch, because I think that's a slap in the face to Bijan, because I think on the football field, Bijan is the best player. The second best player is that man that wears Cinco, Mr. Drake. Now, if you want to throw Pitts behind those two, I'm fine with it. But those two are the best players on the field offensively, period. Numbers don't lie.
No, I'm not saying no. I'm not saying
okay,
that.
no. I was making sure, because I was going to say, hold up. Don't say that, because you got to look at production. And those two have been producing since they stepped foot here.
No, that's and I let me rephrase what I'm saying, right? In situations where Kyle was forced to be the guy, where Bijan was either hurt, he was having a bad game, or Kyle wasn't on the field, and we actually featured Kyle and made Kyle the guy, he showed he could be the best player on the football field, because again, he creates so many mismatches on the football field. He's stronger and faster than most linebackers. He's bigger than most corners. So with his body type, he's a walking mismatch. He doesn't believe it. He does not believe who he is. So when he actually has the mindset of, I'm going to come into this game and I'm going to be the Travis Kelce or the George Kittle or the Pat Freiermuth for my team, no one can stop Kyle. It's been proven. It's just, I don't believe Kyle is truly in it for the football sense of it all. I think he does it because he can do it, not because he wants to do it.
I'm going to say this, because I got to quote, I got to throw the history in here. I got to be the historian tonight. You know how I got to do it. When you talk about it, I look at legendary players that played this game, and some of these people won't know this. One of the greatest football player of all time, was a man by the name of Slinging Sammy Ball. You can say what you want about him. You can, he played in this era. Here's the thing. He played both sides of the football and didn't come off the field. First off, quarterback, won a passing title, had the most interceptions in the season, and also had the most punt yards in the season. He had a triple crown. No player has done that since. And this was his exact quote. He says, when you're off the field, you try to be a nice guy, you be humble, you do this here. But when you step foot on the field, you got to think you're the best son of a who played this game. That is how you do it. And that is the mindset that you have to have on that football field.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he was great. A lot of people don't know about him, but he damn sure was one of the best to ever do it. And any great player, even if they're humble off the field, when you step foot on that field, you're this. I'm going to give you this. My idol, greatest football player to me, is Walter Payton. That's my idol. It's a reason for that. Never die easy. 13 years, missed one game. Wasn't because he was hurt. It was because the coach sat him down and played Mike Adamle. Would have played 13 years without missing a game. Now, his quote was never die easy, which means no matter how bad stuff gets, I'm going to give you hell from gun to gun. That is how you play the game. And he said it. He said, my mindset was like a gunslinger. I get shot here, arm here, but I'm still coming at you. That is how you have to play this game. A lot of guys don't have that mindset anymore. Game has changed. Let's just be real. The game has changed. It's not like that anymore. You got some guys who still have it. It's very far and few that you see. But if Kyle Pitts had that mindset like the greats that I just named, I'm just throwing that out there. Hell, I'll even say Ray Lewis, his mindset. For the folks that don't know what I'm speaking on when I talk about historical players, you have to have a mindset to be great. It doesn't just start when you step on the field. It starts when you're in that weight room. It starts when you're in that film room. It starts when you're dieting. It starts when you're film study. It starts when you're doing everything, all the little things to become great. And the other thing is, you're not going to let anybody outwork you. That's why Bijan is great. That's why Drake is great. That's why Jesse Bates is on another level. You have to have that type of mindset. And I'm going to be honest, Kyle Pitts could be one of the best football players in this game. And we're going to switch from Pitts. You have to have that mindset to be great. You have the physical tools and the capabilities to be one of the game's best. You were dubbed a generational talent for a reason. They see it. Everybody sees the flashes. You have to believe in that, Kyle. I'm one of your biggest antagonists. I want you up out of here. I'm going to tell you that. And I stand on my square when I say it. But guess what? While you wear this logo, and even when you play this game elsewhere, I want you to succeed because you got to a place that so many of us didn't get to. You don't understand what it's like to have those broken dreams because you wasn't one of the ones who fell through the crack. They say woulda, coulda, shoulda. You were one that made it. Take your opportunity, ball your ass off wherever you are, get your money, and be a great dominant player. Still want your monkey ass up out of here. But damn it, be a great player. That's what I want you to do. Help produce for the Falcons if you're here. Now, if you go to the Saints, this is all I'm gonna say to you.
And I hate your guts. I hope all the bad things in life happen to you and nobody else.
That's if you go to the Saints. But I don't see that happening, though. We ain't stupid enough to trade him there. But I can see him going to Denver. But hey, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. Y'all sit back and relax, man. We got to pay some bills. Hey, we got you covered, man. This is the BirdCage LLC. Let's get to it. Tap in every Thursday night at 8 p.m. for the BirdCage LLC with the magnificent BirdCage crew, getting it in and talking Falcon football every Thursday at 8. If you don't get that, we also got On the Perch for you. We have special guests that come through during the off season, and then we also have Bumper to Bumper in the morning where you get your morning fill of the historian's thoughts, man. You know how we get down, man. Tap into it.
You either get right or you get left. Goose.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The little voice that you hear in the background, that is what we call cheap labor. Let me stop. Let me stop playing. Hey. Don't be saying that all out loud. You're going to get me in trouble with. Listen, you're going to have them folks over here investigating me for working the child's voice on the mic. Stop it. Shout out to Miss Khalees McNeil for the voiceovers, man. That's my little protege right there. She definitely doing the damn thing. And I can't wait till she eventually joins me. She's a Bulldog fan. Her mama ain't gonna let me have her as a full Falcon fan, but that might change when she get older. So hopefully it does. But shout out to Miss Khalees McNeil for the voiceovers for the BirdCage LLC, man. Y'all tap into it, man. Look, she's still in school. She's prepping right now. Readers Theater, little something.
Yes,
Getting
sir.
her prep so she can take over my job one day. I could just be the producer. But let's get to it, man. Bijan's 4th year will bring more greatness to an already glorified short 3-year career. How do you feel that's going to happen?
It's two things that we have to do, in all honesty. Number one, we cannot run him into the ground. And number two, we have to solidify the offensive line. We have to create better running lanes for Bijan. Because a lot of times it feels like Bijan looked like Barry Sanders a lot in the backfield because he had to create so many lanes for himself. And he had to make something out of nothing a lot of times also. So as great as Bijan is, he can be even greater if we can get the right people around him. And we also don't have to run that man into the ground, 30, 40 rushes a game. If we can cut that in half and even use him and use him more as a receiver, that would be a lot more. I think that will open up so many more avenues for him. Mm-hmm. And then having Brian Robinson here also, I believe that helps Bijan to do that also. Because now you have almost the same typical or prototype type of back that Brian Robinson is that's going to complement Bijan very well. So I can honestly see a cool 1,800 yards from 1,800 overall yards from scrimmage this year. So Bijan is he's on his way.
Well, my mother is saying yes, but she ain't saying yes for Bijan. She's saying yes for the kid. She was late on her delay. I know what that's for. Hey, mama, listen. You can say yes to her off the camera. You can't say yes to her on the camera now. You taking up. Look, you know what? I can't talk to my mama like that, man. Shout out to my mama, man.
Hey, mama get him. He cutting up.
Building.
He cutting up. Mama get him.
I ain't scared of my mama.
Yeah, you were supposed to be missing tackles, things he hadn't done in the previous years that he was here. And again, when you have the ability to bring in someone like a Dexter Lawrence, do you want to keep someone who's long in the tooth, or do you want to try to upgrade the position to make the team better moving forward for a longer period of time? So, as much as I love Jesse Bates and as much as I respect his game, I would rather see him end his career somewhere else. I mean, he can finish his contract with this, but I don't want to see him retired. I just don't. It doesn't make sense for us moving forward.
I'm with you on that. And, it's tough because he's one of those guys that has been the glue during a lot of the tough times with this team. He's been the glue, StreamYard to StreamYard, and hold up. Let me pop out and pop back in because I want to finish my point.
Oh, also to all of our followers, thank you for rocking with us. We appreciate you. And for everyone out there dealing with something, trust me, we love y'all. Keep your head up, and we praying for y'all.
I'm sorry about that. Apologize. StreamYard for StreamYard, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna get back to it. What I was saying was this: I love Jesse Bates as a player. I think he's one of the best to ever do it. And at this point, Jesse Bates has to understand that the business of the game has changed. this was not one of his best years. And what has to happen now, we have to start planning for the future and start planning for this secondary to have life without him, because you drafted Xavier Watts and Billy Bowman to be those guys in that secondary. You just drafted these guys. Bowman is coming off the Achilles. You can keep Jesse for one more year while he's healing up and getting right. That's what I would do. I wouldn't just be quick to trade him away. But if you have an opportunity to get a Dexter Lawrence for him right now, I would do it, because we have depth in the secondary. We have guys that are going to be playing safety. You still got Fuller in the back. They're still on this team.
Yeah.
People forgot about that. Fuller's still on this team. So you still have players that are here that can suffice for Jesse not being there at this point.
And like you said, this is his, we signed him to a 4-year contract.
Yep,
This is the end
his
of his
last
contract.
year.
This is the last year. So do you let him walk for nothing? Or do you try to move him and try to get something back in return that can help this team move forward and get over the hump? Because again, this team has had 8 consecutive losing seasons. We ain't seen the playoffs since 2016. Well, 2017, excuse me. So do you want to do something to help the team move forward and win more football games? Or do you want to continue to hold on to players that aren't going to really help us in the long run?
Agreed. And I look at it from, a different, a different place or whatnot. And it's just, it just makes you just think, life is short, just like the NFL is short. Careers don't last long, period. And the way that you have to do it now, you really have to pay attention to everything that pertains in this. Jesse is going to end up being on a decline soon. This year was the year that showed you that, because it was a lot of stuff that he made, plays that he would normally make, he struggled with this year. Even when Watts was on top of his game, stuff that you wouldn't see him struggle with, he struggled with. And here's the thing. Father Time is undefeated. And that's for every athlete. That's for every young person that turns old. Father Time is undefeated. It's okay. It just sucks to become immortal, as they would say. You once were elite, and then you become mortal. Not saying that you don't have the reflexes and the reactions to do it still, but can you do it for a long period of time still? And you saw some of that decline this year. And that is something that every athlete has to face. Mm-hmm. And at this point, you drafted these 2 guys to take his job. And at this point, you got Clark Phillips III that's still here. And then you still got Kobe Bryant that's still here. And I'll be honest with you, those 2 are going to battle for that nickel spot pretty much all year. And whoever is the cheapest option, which is probably going to be Kobe Bryant, cheap-wise, money-wise, they're going to probably end up sliding Clark Phillips III elsewhere. Clark is a bad boy, but at the same time, they're also going to look at money. That's the main thing at this point. How much money can I save and put a great team on the field? That's what makes the Philadelphia Eagles tough. That's what made the Baltimore Ravens tough. That is what made Chicago tough with Ian Cunningham. He's a guy that understands that I might have $50 on my EBT card. Right now, he don't have money, so he's got an EBT card. We saw him literally spend $17 million on a day of free agency and grab players that we needed. A quarterback, 2 receivers, a lineman, a defensive player. I mean, you look and linebackers. You really look at what he did with $17 million. He barely spent any money. Then he brings in Brian Robinson Jr. Then he brings in Jawan Taylor for cheap. even though a lot of people aren't happy about it. Ian Cunningham is doing what we have not had in years, an aggressive front office to build depth. That is something that we have struggled with for years. But I think we're going to be okay. I think we're going to be okay. We got somebody in here that's competent, somebody in here that is doing the job the right way. Might piss some people off. I'm going to tell you right now, it's still a lot of heartbroken Atlanta Hawk fans right now because Trae Young is gone. It's just the truth. It's just the truth. Shout out to We Talk Hawks TV, my boy Foot, Demond, and all them over there. Foot! But let's talk about it. Trae Young led the Hawks to an Eastern Conference Finals. Hadn't been back there since ISO Joe and those boys were here. Now, they traded him away. He wasn't given the production that he once was. It's okay. And he was the face of the franchise. Guess what? Uncy did what he had to do. Ian Cunningham is pretty much the football version of Uncy. He's going to get rid of guys that you might fall in love with. I might fall in love with. But it's called a business. You either going to win or you're going to lose. And you don't have that much time to do it. And remember this, Ian didn't pick Kevin Stefanski, by the way. That's not his coach. He came in after Kevin Stefanski. So the responsibility falls on him, even if Stefanski screws up. He's held responsible for that. So even if he does do well, he's going to be on the short leash. But lastly, I'll say this. Stefanski laid out the plans for this season. He's pretty much telling guys, you got to work on one accord. You got to be here. You're going to have to work, and nothing is going to be handed to you. Even the guys that are starting right now, he's already let them know that this is getting ready to be an experience to where they're going to all be together, and everybody start from scratch pretty much. So when you come out here, you put your best foot forward day in and day out. That is pretty much what he's letting you know. He doesn't do too much rah-rah in the media, which I respect. So we're going to see how this goes. Cam, what you got?
Culture. That's exactly what it sounds like Kevin Stefanski is trying to build. Even going back to the whole Jesse Bates thing with the solidarity for JPJ. We didn't see a whole lot of that when it came to Michael Vick with the whole dogfighting thing when it came to certain players. A lot of players dogged him out, talked bad about him in the press and everything else. So when you have players that are letting you know, like, hey, this is more than life. This is about your well-being, and we're here for you at any point. Just reach out to us and let us know. That lets me know that these guys are truly committed to being there for one another. And that's the most important thing because, again, as much as I hate it, one band, one sound. That's what this has to be. One band, one sound. Because when we all look good and when we play good, we all look good. When one look bad, we all look bad. And that's pretty much what Stefanski was saying. Bijan could have a great game, but if the offensive line looks bad, the whole team looks bad. If Michael Penix has a great game, but Drake drops 6 passes, the whole team is bad. So the culture, what he's trying to produce here is something that I've been saying for years. We've never had a legitimate culture or a winning mindset to be flooded into the culture of the Atlanta Falcons. This has been a perennial losing franchise. Let's just call it for what it is. This is 50 plus years of losing. You've had some winning seasons sprinkled in, but overall, this is a losing franchise. You have someone coming in here speaking, it sounds good, but again, I need to see the full product. I love what I'm seeing right now. I'm very optimistic about it, but to say that I'm sold on it, that would be a reach. It would be a stretch. So I would love to continue to see what they build moving forward, but we have to do more. It has to be more.
Yeah. And that's something that you got to look at. And I agree with you on that. Culture is huge, but the question is, can we end up keeping the culture going? Because Atlanta doesn't really have a culture except for music, just to be real, when it comes to winning. The Braves, yes. The Atlanta United, yes. With the Hawks and the Falcons, nah, we don't have that yet. And until we get that, that is going to be something that is going to be a toss-up for most fans. So at the end of the day, we just got to make sure that we continue to keep doing what we're doing as fans, supporting this team, content creators. We're going to sit here and put, can I put it? We got to tell the truth, even if it hurts your feelings. We got to continue to keep putting out quality content. We can't put out BS and fluff pieces. Can't do it. And that is something that this fan base has to understand. We actually got people in here that don't care about feelings. They care about results. And we've been crying and complaining about it for the longest. And I'll go biblical for you. Just think about it. I know some people aren't religious, but I apologize if I offend you, but this is just what it is. We're pretty much like the Israelites in the wilderness, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we are. We finally get out of captivity like the Israelites did in Egypt. They get out of there. They go to the desert. They complain. They complain for 40 years. They complain. They have a leader in Moses. Moses got fed up with them. And because of his attitude and him getting pissed, he didn't get to go into the promised land as he was told. Guess what? He got to see the promised land, but not go into it because he decided to fall and go with the crowd. Our job as content creators is to lead. That is our job. I can't say that about everybody else. I can't say it. You got some folks who don't understand how to lead because guess what? They want everybody to feel good about what they put out. They want everybody to follow. That's not my job. My job is to tell the truth. The magnificent Birdcage crew's job is to tell the truth. And you got to understand this, ladies and gentlemen. We're like the Israelites, crying and complaining. We're finally starting to get fed manna, which is bread for those who don't know. And you got your quail meat, by the way. You're getting fed. Right now, we're weeding out the weak. That's pretty much what those 40 years were, weeding out the weak. Remember this. Moses stood on top of Mount Sinai and actually looked at the promised land, saw it, saw how luscious it was, full of green grass, milk, and honey. We've seen the Super Bowl 2 times. For all these old Falcon fans that's been around since the 60s, 70s, and 80s, guess what? You've looked into the promised land, but you haven't experienced the promised land. That is where we're at as a fan base, ladies and gentlemen. We have looked into the promised land. But those who have kept the faith, those who have not turned, those who have not changed the radio will enter the promised land. Because guess what? I'm going to probably clip this later, and I'm going to probably get laughed at. Ian Cunningham is the Moses of this team now. Understand what I just said. That is the leader. It ain't Matt Ryan. Matt is like Aaron. If you know who Aaron is, Aaron was Moses' brother. He was right alongside of him. He was the one that was helping carry out the task to convince the people to believe. Matt Ryan is here to convince you to believe in what we're doing in this front office. He's learning because I got a feeling Matt's going to take over eventually if Ian goes elsewhere. But I don't think Ian's going to go anywhere. But right now, Matt is like Aaron, Ian is Moses right now. And Ian is putting together this staff just like he had his followers that assisted him in getting the children out of Egypt and getting them to the promised land. I'm gonna tell you right now, yo, Joshua is getting ready to be Arthur Blank's son when he takes over this team. Understand how Joshua marched on Jericho and tore it down. How he marched on Bethel and destroyed the Bethelites, ladies and gentlemen. Understand it. You got leaders here now. Let them cook. Let them work. Let them lead. Yes, we're going to be critical of what we say. But my thing is this. I can disagree with what you're doing, but I'm going to believe in what you're doing, even if I disagree with it, because you are leading this franchise, and you also have fragile egos of fans that are so hurt and so sensitive, and they want to just go back. They complain. They want to go back to where they were. They don't want to experience nothing new. Understand this. Pain and change go hand in hand. When you get change in your life, it's gonna come with a little pain. There are gonna come times where people fall away from you. There are gonna come times where you have to leave folks behind and let them stay where they are. This Falcon team is gonna leave folks behind, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're not rocking with us now, you're not getting into the promised land, and don't think you're gonna rock with us when we get there. Keep the faith. It's going to take time. Yes, we have to be shown this, just like they were shown miracles when they were trying to get out of Egypt. We have to be shown these miracles because we have not experienced greatness yet. So, with that being said, I'm going to pass the collection plate around. Y'all can donate to the BirdCage LLC Baptist Church. 1987 Winners Boulevard. You either get right or you get left alley. You know how we do it. But I got to cut up a little bit, man. Had to bring that up in there. Maybe I'm in the wrong profession. Maybe I'm in the wrong profession. I might need to go to biblical school to become a minister. Let me stop joking, boy. I'm about as crooked as Peter was. But ladies and gentlemen, we definitely appreciate you tapping in with us tonight. We're going to have our HBCU special coming up soon. So possibly next week, depending on how things go, we should have that coming up where we're going to talk about HBCU prospects. I got to see about getting a special guest on. I might be bringing a former coach, a former HBCU Black National Championship winning coach and Hall of Famer in 7 different Hall of Fames onto the show. He's been on the show before. We interviewed him, but with his busy schedule, we'll see, because we got some prospects we want to talk about, and we want to also talk to him about what the process is like for coaches when they're getting their guys ready to go to that next level, to the NFL, and how that works. And we can try to get you some insight on that. So, Coach Cam, definitely appreciate you coming through as always. And everybody in the chat, we appreciate you coming through. As I said before, make sure y'all put some money in that collection plate. We got a building fund going on. The lights might go out on us or whatnot. See, lights already going out now. I'm just joking. I just made that happen. But hey, we love you. Y'all stay safe. And throughout these trying times that we're having in this country right now, continue just to enjoy the little things in life, because at the end of the day, life is short, just like a summer vacation. It's here today, gone tomorrow. Much love. We'll catch you on the next go round. This is the historian. I'm out. Ghost.